Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to look at linear equations, word problems. So if you've done solving linear equations and two variable equations, if you've seen those videos, that'll really help you in today's lesson. So let's get started. Example 1. A cell phone company charges $50 per month for 10 gigabytes of data, and an additional $8 for every gigabyte after that. So let's create our equation. Let C be the cost in dollars, and n be the number of additional gigabytes. So here's our equation. Our cost is $50 right off the bat, plus any multiple of 8 after that. So if there are any additional gigabytes used, you get $8 that are added. So if n is 1, you get 8. If n is 2, you get 16 additional dollars to pay. So A. What is the cost for 13 gigabytes of data? So 13 gigabytes of data means we have an additional 3 gigabytes. So from here we know n equals 3. We plug it into our equation and we get our cost of $74. So what is the cost of 13 gigabytes of data? The cost is $74. Whenever it's a word problem, every answer you want to give a word solution, a word answer. If it's a word question, you give a word answer. B. If the bill came up to be $82, how many additional gigabytes were used? So here we have cost 82. 82 equals 50 plus 8n. And we want to isolate n to find out how many additional gigabytes were used. So we want to get rid of this 50. So minus 50 to both sides. 8n equals 32. We want to get rid of that 8. So divide by 8 on both sides. And we get n equals 4. So 4 additional gigabytes were used. C. Graph the equation. So here we have our axes here. Our x-axis is additional gigabytes, and our y-axis here is our cost. So when the additional gigabytes is 0, it's $50. When the additional gigabytes is 1, n equals 1, the cost is 58. And the cost is 58 like that. And so we're going to graph our equation as such. C equals 50 plus 8n right here as such. D. What does 2 comma 66 represent? So 2 comma 66, this is a n comma c. So n is 2 and c is 66. What that means is the cost for an additional 2 gigabytes is $66. And that's it. All right, let's move on to our next equation. Okay, example 2. A painting service company charges an initial amount of $40 plus an additional $30 for every hour they paint. So let C be the cost in dollars and H be the amount of hours spent painting. So here's our equation. C equals 40 plus 30H. All right, if H is 0, they paid $40 just to arrive. For 1 hour, 30 times 1. For 2 hours, 30 times 2. So this is our equation for this problem here. So A, what is the cost for 4 hours of painting? So what that means is H is 4. We plug in 4 into our equation here as such, and we get 160. So the cost is $160 for 4 hours of painting. B. If the bill came up to be $100, how many hours did they paint for? So here what that means is cost is 100 and we want to find H. So we plug in 100 into our equation here. So 100 equals 40 plus 30H. We want to get rid of this 40 first, so minus 40 to both sides. So we have 30H equals 60. Now we want to get rid of this 30, so divide by 30 both sides, and we have H equals 2. So if the cost is $100, they painted for 2 hours. C. Graph the equation. So we have hours painted by cost like that. So 0 hours painted gives $40. 1 hour painted gives $70. And 2 hours painted gives $100. And because you can charge half a dollar, the line is a continuous line here to graph the equation. D. What does 0, 40 represent? So we have 0, 40. This means H is 0 and C is 40. And so the cost of 0 hours, so simply arriving, is $40. Okay, another example. 3. A chef rents a food truck for $900 a month. He makes $5 profit for each sandwich that he sells. A. Write an equation relating monthly profit and the number of sandwiches sold each month. So let P be the profit for each month, and let N be the number of sandwiches sold. And so the profit is negative 900 plus 5N. Why negative 900? Because he's renting the truck right off the bat. So he didn't sell anything and he already has a loss. He spent $900. And then he makes $5 per sandwich. So if there's one sandwich, it's 5. 2 sandwiches, it's 10, etc., etc. So this is the equation relating profit and number of sandwiches. B. How many sandwiches must be sold to break even? Breaking even means the profit is 0. So here we replace profit as 0. So 0 equals 5N minus 900. Plus 900 both sides. 900 equals 5N. Divide by 5 both sides, and we get N equals 180. So in other words, 180 sandwiches must be sold to break even. C. Graph this equation. So here at 0, so we have sandwiches sold by profit. Sandwiches sold is 0, we have minus 900, like that. And our break even, when P is 0, is 180, right? So we also have that point. So these are our 2 points, and we connect them as such to create our graph. Now, it's not a straight line because we can't sell half a sandwich. So imagine here 180 little dots like that in between, keeps going like that, like that. And so this is the graph of our equation as such. D. If the profit was $1,200, how many sandwiches were sold? Let's take a look at that. So profit $1,200. Here's our profit equation. So profit's $1,200 equals 5N minus 900. Plus 900 to both sides to get 5N on its own. Divide both sides by 5 and we get N equals 420. So if there's a profit of $1,200, 420 sandwiches were sold. And let's look at another last example here. Example 4. Amy has a budget of $45 for entertainment. She likes to rent movies and buy bags of chips. Each movie rental costs $5 and each bag of chips costs $3. A. Write the equation for the total cost. So this one's going to be a bit different. Let M be the amount of movies that she rents, and C be the amount of bag of chips that she buys. So here we go. 5M, because it's $5 for the movie, and then $3 for each chip. And this combination gives her total budget of $45. So multiple of movies plus multiples of chips gives $45 because that's her total cost for the month, like that. B, graph this equation. So you might have remembered from our previous courses that when we're graphing this, it's easy to plug in the zeros. So here M equals 0, we get 3C equals 45. Divide by 3, C equals 15. So 0, 15 is one of our points. Here C equals 0, we get 5M equals 45. Divide by 5, M equals 9. And so here we have 0, 15. So 0, 15 is here. And 9, 0, like this, 9, 0 is here. And so our graph is all these points in between as such. And why are they points? Because you can't rent half a movie. If you could, it would be a straight line, but you can't. So it's dotted between 9 and 15, like that. C. If she rents 4 movies, how many bags of chips does she buy? So what we have here is M equals 4 and C equals unknown. Here's our equation. Plug in M equals 4 and we get 20 plus 3C equals 45. We want to get rid of this 20, so we go minus 20 to both sides. So 3c equals 25. Divide by 3 on both sides, c equals 8.33. So you can't buy 0.33 bags of chips, so she buys 8. So she buys 8 bags of chips if she rents 4 movies. Okay, time for you guys to do some practice. Okay, practice 1. A car rental company charges $40 to rent a car, plus an additional 50 cents for each kilometer driven. A. Write an equation relating the cost to rent the car and the number of kilometers driven. B. Graph this equation. C. How far can one drive with $82? And D. If one drove 23 kilometers, how much would that cost? Go ahead and pause the video and answer these questions. Okay, we're back. So A, let C be the cost in dollars and let N be the number of kilometers driven. So the cost is 40 right away plus the additional kilometers, so 0.5 N like that. And this is 50 cents. B, graph this equation. So we can say at 0 there's 40, and if we were to go 10 kilometers, plug in 10, that's an additional 5. So the cost would be 45, like that. So there's our 2 points. We plot our graph like that. C equals 40 plus 0.5 N, and we labeled our axes like that. C, how far can one drive with $82? So if the cost is 82, we plug that into our equation, and we want to isolate N. So minus 40 to both sides. So 0.5 N equals 42. Divide by 0.5 on both sides, so we get 84. So one can drive 84 kilometers if the cost is $82. D, if one drove for 23 kilometers, how much would that cost? So here we have N equals 23. What is the cost? C equals 40 plus 0.5 N. Plug in N, and we get C equals 51.5. So the cost would be $51.50. Okay, example 2, or practice 2. A cable company charges $35 per month for 30 channels, an additional $1 per additional channel. A. Write an equation relating the cost to watch cable TV and the number of additional channels. B. Graph this equation. C. How many channels can one watch if their budget for TV is $42 per month? D. If one wanted 11 additional channels, how much would that cost? So go ahead and pause the video and answer these questions. Okay, we're back. So A, let's let C be the cost in dollars and N be the number of additional channels. Now the cost for an additional channel is simply 1. So C equals 35 plus N is our equation. Graph this equation. So at 0 additional channels, it's 35. So additional channels by cost, like that. Oh, is missing that. Can write that there, cost. So 0 is 35. At 10 additional channels, it's 45. So plot that like that. And we can't have half a channel, so it's going to be a dotted graph like that. C. How many channels can one watch if their budget for TV is $42 a month? So here we have C equals 42. Plug that into our equation. 42 equals 35 plus N. Minus 35 to both sides, and N equals 7. Now N equals 7 is additional channels, so it's 30 plus 7. So one can watch 37 channels is our answer. D. If one wanted 11 additional channels, how much would that cost? So here what we have is N equals 11, and what is the cost? Plug it in, and we get C equals 46. So the cost would be $46 for 11 additional channels. Okay. Practice 3. A band rents a music hall for $5,000 for the night. The band makes $80 profit per ticket sold. A. Write an equation relating monthly profit and the number of tickets sold each month. B. How many tickets must be sold to break even? C. Graph this equation. And D. If the profit was $12,000, how many tickets were sold? Go ahead and pause the video and answer these questions. Okay, we're back. So A, let P be the profit for each month, and N be the number of tickets sold. So our profit here, minus 5,000, because you start with minus 5,000 in the tube, plus 80N, which 80 is the number of tickets. 80 is the dollar amount for each ticket, like that. So P equals negative 5,000 plus 80N is our equation. B, how many tickets must be sold to break even? Breaking even means profit is 0. So we plug in our 0 into our equation, plus 5,000 both sides, divide by 80 both sides, N equals 62.5. So to break even, they must sell 63 tickets. Right? 62 is not enough. It has to be a bit more. So 63 tickets to break even. C, graph this equation. So no tickets sold gives us negative 5,000. And once we get 62.5 sold, we break even, so the profit is 0. So our graph connects these 2 points, and it's as such. And it's dotted because we can't sell half a ticket. So imagine 60 little dots here as such. And then other points, lots and lots of points. And so that's the graph of our equation. D, if the profit was 12,000, how many tickets were sold? So we go here, P equals 12,000. N is what? How many tickets sold? Plug in 12,000, plus 5,000 to both sides, divide by 80 to both sides, and so N equals 212.5. So to make this profit, they need 213 tickets. Okay, last practice. A class on a field trip has $120 to spend on lunch break. Sandwiches cost $6 each, and a slice of pizza costs $5. A, write an equation for the total cost. B, graph this equation. And C, if they buy 10 sandwiches, how many slices of pizza do they buy? So go ahead and pause the video and answer these questions. Okay, A, let S be the amount of sandwiches that they buy, and P be the amount of pizza slices that they buy. And so a slice of pizza is $6. Sorry, sandwich is $6, and a slice of pizza is $5. So 6S plus 5P equals 120, the amount total that's going to be spent. B, graph this equation. So this one's easy. If you go S equals 0, this is gone. So you get 5P equals 120. Divide by 5, P equals 24. So S0 and P24 is one of our points. P equals 0 for our second point. Plug that in, and so we get 6S equals 120. Divide by 6 on both sides, S equals 20 as such. And so 20 comma 0 is our other point. So here we're going to graph. We have X and Y. Sandwiches are X, pizza are Y. And so if we have 20 sandwiches, it gives pizza 0. Or you can have sandwiches 0 and get pizza 24. And so we connect these two lines like that. And we can't buy half a sandwich. So it's not a straight line, it's a dotted line as such. Oh, and I forgot. We can write this here. 6S plus 5P equals 120 as such. Okay, C. If they buy 10 sandwiches, how many slices of pizza do they buy? So we have here S equals 10, P equals unknown. Plug in S equals 10. minus 60 to both sides, so 5p is on its own. 5p equals 60. Divide by 5 to both sides, p equals 12. So if s equals 10, then they buy 12 slices of pizza. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.